So I am working on that PNY GTX 1080 Ti that was missing the that resistor, that 0 ohm resistor down in here somewhere was not 0 ohms. And so initially when I plugged the card in, you guys saw it in the video, it played Valley benchmark and it did I thought it was good. So I just kept using the card. Just to keep testing it or whatever. And it gave me a gray screen, and I didn't know what that meant. So I started trying to kind of try to understand the voltage, the voltages. And you watch how when you look at, dude, I should have made this cable longer. I got my little box that I made. I basically was watching Northwest Repair, and he essentially showed his box that he had 3D printed. I don't have a 3D printer, so I just repurposed a little tool or a little screw holder or whatever. So I want to show you some of what I am looking at. We're going to add the screen to that. We're going to add it to this. All right, so let's see if you can see, if I straighten this a little bit. So essentially what I'm going to be doing is probing these phases. And each one of these big coils is a phase, right? So if I come to this first phase and I turn it on, it looks pretty normal. When I cut it on the other phase, it doesn't look normal. When I go to the next phase, it doesn't look normal. Next phase, not normal. I don't know, that's kind of normal, kind of not normal. Kind of normal, kind of not normal. And then that one is back to normal, right? So now let's go under the microscope and let's look at the SIC 620. So this is the first one. This is the one that we said looked normal. So I'm going to cut it on. And the PWM signal from the PWM controller looks normal. This was one that was abnormal. And the signal coming from the PWM controller is abnormal. And if I check all the rest of them, they followed suit. So the output of each inductor, or the input on this side of the inductor, the PWM, the actual pulse that you see, this one looked normal and its PWM input looked normal. This one was abnormal and its PWM input was abnormal. And all the way down we went to the last one and it was normal. Well, those signals come from this chip right here. Let's go back under the microscope. Let me shrink this up some so you can see. So that's the NCP 81274, and it is a phase buck controller, right? And so pins 4 through 11 maybe are your phases. It's the output from this chip right here. So if we look, we can kind of see. So here, pin 4 comes, hard to see, but I think it comes to this one, and that's phase 8. So we'll just kind of probe around and see what we get. So if I probe here, normal. I come to the one next to it, which would be phase 7, abnormal. Like a double pulse. And this would be maybe phase 6, abnormal. And then if we come over to, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's 10. So this is 11. So this should be phase 1. This should correspond to phase 1. And it's normal. You see what I'm saying? So I'm thinking that given that all else, the inputs to the, now it could be possible that the SIC 620s perhaps are failing and therefore causing back impedance to this chip. That's 100% possible. But I mean, I don't know. I don't have friggin' 8. It just seems odd that 6 out of the 8 phases don't look right. And 2 do. But then this is even more complex than that. Let me cut the power supply off to make sure I don't. It's more complex than that. Because each one of, it's like this 6-pin 12-volt rail powers some things. This 8-pin 12-volt rail powers some things. So it's a little confusing as when you're trying to troubleshoot. It's a little confusing. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I mean, it seems like if this chip right here is giving bad output, then it would stand to reason that that chip is faulty. And then the other dilemma I have is that I was watching a video by Chris Fix Germany, and he said that when he did it, he kind of did the same thing, and he reasoned out that this chip was faulty. But and this was like a RTX graphics card, so he ended up having to pull the firmware from this PWM controller and then write the firmware back onto the controller after he had installed it. And so I don't know if that's true for a replacement chip. I don't know if that's true for a GTX 1080 Ti. I don't know if that same logic applies. So yeah, so I'm kind of torn here as to what to do, you know. But right now the card's stuck at 139 megahertz. Clearly there's something wrong with the power. Just so happens that I did purchase some of these chips, these NCP chips from AliExpress. And I don't suppose it would hurt anything if I were to put one of these chips on. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? The fault be the same, you know what I'm saying? Although, as we've seen in past videos, using the wrong part is not always a good deal, but this is the correct part if they are in fact good ICs. I think they've definitely been used before. $81274 on semiconductor. So I think what we should do is put this on the preheater and heat the board. Or can I do it with just? So my problem is I don't have that. I don't want to put it on the preheater and melt my deals or blow up these caps. So I'm just going to try to take it off like this. I'm going to use 425, and it's going to take a long time, but we are going to try to get it off. We're going to go max airflow. I think it's on there. Hopefully I didn't kill the chip, both chips actually, because I had to use, what did I use, 450? Yeah, I used 450 10 airflow. We need to wait for this to cool down some more. All right, cut window capture 5 back on. Let's grab our O-scope probe. Now, one of two things is going to happen. Either we're not going to get any PWM because the chip isn't soldered on there correctly, or it's going to be the same. I'm going to wait a little while for that chip to cool down some more. I think I'll tinkle while it's cooling down. All right, I think it is cooled down enough. So we're going to turn on our deal. We are going to check our first coil. We got output. That's good. Now this was the one that was all these other 6 or 5, whatever it is, were messed up. Let's see if they're still messed up. They are not messed up. Dude, all our phases look good now. How about that, bro? How about it? So let me put the card back together. Let me put it back into my main PC since I still don't have a test bench because I'm, I buy broken stuff. So sometimes you can't afford to buy things that you need, Y'all know what I'm talking about. Let me get this put back together and then we'll put it in the main PC. All right, so as you can see, the repair worked. Card ran per mark for 30 minutes, high superposition, and everything looked good. So yeah, so hopefully you learned something. I know I learned a whole bunch. So anyhow, y'all be good.